Welcome to Sundays Are for Forgiveness. I wanted to start this first episode with the first person that I remember I had to forgive, which was my cousin. So, anybody that is going to start watching this episode, I just want to give a trigger warning. I am going to be talking about SA. I'm not going to be talking about anything in specific, but I will be bringing that up. So, if just that word triggers you, I apologize, and maybe next week's will be better for you. But if not, stay. When I was 10 years old, so imagine that, me 10 years old, I was in fifth grade and he was 22, he SA'd me. After he did that to me, I remember becoming a really angry person. I remember just feeling super hateful. Like I would tell my mom things like, I hate you, I hope you die. And I was just really mad. My mom didn't know what had happened. I never disclosed any of this until I think I was like 18. I was just always afraid. That could be a story for another day. But, after he had done that to me, I had so much hate inside of me that I just remembered lashing out all the time. I would lash out. And I wasn't like that before. That happened after he did that to me. When I was introduced to God and forgiveness and to the cross, everything changed. When I learned about what Jesus had done on the cross for me and I believed it with all my heart, and I still do, I was able to forgive because I was like, you know what? If he forgave me for whatever I had done, then I can forgive for what had happened to me. Forgiving that person didn't mean just forgot what he had done to me. That's not what that meant. Forgiving meant like I just was able to let go of all of that negative, all of the hatred. Like I was able to let it go. And when I let that go, I was able to just move forward. And I was 15 and I learned about Jesus. I learned about what it meant to have a relationship with him. I fell in love with God. I fell in love with God and everything that had to do with him. And because of that, he gave me the strength to forgive my cousin who had hurt me so deeply when I was just a child. I mean, he took something away from me that I would never be able to get back. But you know what? Being able to talk about it has also helped me to heal. But definitely, God and his forgiveness towards me helped me forgive him. When I was able to let go of all the anger, the hate, the negative feelings that came when I thought about that person or what had happened to me, you guys, everything changed. Like I was able to let new things into your heart when you let all those negative things out. When I started studying the Bible when I was just a teenager, they have a Bible study that's entitled The Cross. And in that study, they show you scriptures about when Jesus went to the cross, but then they also read us this like medical account of what happened to Jesus. And that medical account is so intense and so graphic that I mean, I just remember crying and just feeling so devastated and so sad as a 15-year-old kid. Imagine of what had happened to Jesus. Like, I'll never forget when I watched The Passion of the Christ. All I could think about was the moment that I was sitting at this lady's table studying the Bible, the cross study, and my mind is very like I can envision everything. So when I saw that Passion of the Christ, that was like the everything that they were reading in that medical record of Jesus being crucified. We were seeing it live on the Passion of the Christ, and it was just heartbreaking. And I remember just thinking like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that my 15-year-old sins had put Jesus on that cross. And I just remember thinking, like, well, if he forgave me and was willing to go on that cross and die for me for my sins, then I can forgive too. Forgiving is where it all started. And I know that it's possible for anybody at any age. Anybody that is listening to this, like, I just want you to have hope that forgiveness is possible. And just know that forgiveness is for you. Like, when I forgave, that's like the moment that I stopped bleeding and I started healing. What my cousin did to me when I was 10 years old, to me, that was like the first traumatic experience I had ever gone through. So imagine like the first traumatic experience that you ever went through. Like now that leaves a scar on us. And with trauma, like if we don't heal it, It's a wound with a hard scab. But when people are picking at that scab or you're triggered and that scab is picked off, it starts to bleed. And that's when all the ugliness, all of the bad feelings, everything starts coming back. But when we actually deal with the traumas that have happened to us and we learn to, like, either for me, for example, when I learned to forgive, I was able to start my healing process. And that wound of what he did to me, it's no longer a wound. Now it's just a scar. So, like, oh, I don't, you guys probably can't see. Oh, you could probably see this one. So, this right here, I just got shoulder surgery and this is a scar. And like, I'm always going to have that scar. That scar is always going to be there, but it's no longer going to bleed. It just doesn't bleed anymore because it's not a wound. It's just a scar now. And that's why I'm able to talk about it. In the beginning, you guys, trust me, I couldn't just sit here and talk about what he had done to me. I would cry. I cried so much, but when I learned to just forgive, forgive him, let it go, and know that God is going to deal with him, then I trusted that. And I just was able to live my life freely and let go of all that and allowed God to put things into my heart that were better: kindness, joy, hope, the fruits of the Spirit. I just want you guys to know that forgiveness is possible and it can start your healing journey. So I hope that this helps anybody that's listening. I know that everybody's experience with SA things are different. Obviously, I didn't go into detail in what happened to me, but being robbed of your innocence at any age is not fair. Whether you're a female, a male, no matter what, it's not fair. And I am so sorry if that happened to you. And I want you to know that you are not alone, that I am here and there is hope. So I love you guys. And I hope this was, I don't know why I'm feeling emotional. Whew. I'm just so grateful, you guys, that God gave me the ability to forgive, because I feel honestly believe that if I wouldn't have forgiven him, like, the trajectory that my life was heading towards was not good. After that happened to me, when you're introduced to certain things that you shouldn't be introduced to as a child, you are going to act those things out. And I remember doing that. So, like, as a teenager, when I had boyfriends, I remember just doing whatever he had done or whatever he had shown me to do, just doing with all the boyfriends that I had. So if you're listening to this and you are somebody who's experienced that and you think about, like, oh my gosh, like, that is true. That's anything that they showed me. I was doing that stuff with other people. Like, don't blame yourself for that. Like, forgive yourself for that. Just forgive yourself for that, because you should have never been introduced to that. They should have never stolen our innocence, but they did. You guys, I'm on here just again to tell you that forgiveness is possible. With God, anything is possible, you guys, definitely. So I hope that you guys will come back for another episode. Next Sunday, I am going to be talking about my husband and I and our forgiveness story. He actually is the one who forgave me 13 years ago. I had an affair and he forgave me. Obviously, he didn't forgive me right away. It took some time, but it's been 13 years since the affair happened, and we are here just thriving in our marriage. We just had our little girl. She's 2 years old, and we have a 16-year-old son. I hope that you stay for another episode next Sunday and just keep following along, and I will see you guys. Bye. If you're carrying pain, anger, or wounds that feel too heavy to release, I want you to know this. Healing is possible, and sometimes it begins with forgiveness. See you guys next week.